sent out a tweet about an article that appeared in Marie Claire magazine stating that being single is the new norm. That didn't surprise me. I've known that for quite some time since most of my closest friends are unmarried, and unlike myself, have never even been married. It made me think, though, about what that means for the financial future for 70% of the single black women that are in this country. As I take a look at my financial situation, I'm reminded of how most of the women in my generation were actually brought up. And even though stats show that 42% of black women are unmarried today, back in the day, you were absolutely expected to get married. Not only for the purposes of having children and a family, but to have a man to be able to provide for you and your children financially. So, if black women are not getting married as we did back in the good old days, what position does that put us in when it comes to considering retirement and the type of things we need to be doing and planning for in the event we don't have that partner? I'm embarrassed to say it, y'all, but tell the truth, shame the devil. Although I'm an Ivy League graduate, I never invested in stocks and bonds, and never even really, truth be told, had a thorough understanding of investments and the stock market. It wasn't something that my parents taught us, and certainly not anything I learned about the entire time I was in school. Even though investments in the stock market and real estate are the reason why a lot of people have acquired wealth, it's just not something that was pressed upon me as a priority. But recently, having a conversation with my insurance agent and his investment broker wife, I am aware more than ever now, perhaps because at the age of 55, my retirement looms dangerously near, the importance of making sure my children start doing now in their 20s and their 30s what I'm just starting to do in my 50s. Ty, which is my insurance man, told me a story about how he discovered mutual funds, which he admitted he knew nothing about either when he was just 22 years old. It was a white man at his job. It was a man he worked with who told him, in a nutshell, that if he wanted to realize his dream of driving a Rolls Royce one day, that dream would never come to fruition as long as he worked for someone else and didn't have his money working for him in the stock market and mutual funds. He assured Ty at 22 that if he did invest every month as little as $50 a month, he would become that millionaire in 20 years. I thought about how crazy it is that out of all the money I've made in my life and the money that I've had, I have never invested in a Roth IRA or a mutual fund except through my current employer, who I've only been working for now for about 8 years, and how quickly 20 years goes by. Even when I was making good money, I didn't have the good sense and wisdom to educate myself enough to make sure I was going to be okay financially if ever the proverbial rainy day came. Well, it did come. And when the hurricane hit and I got divorced and had to start over, now I'm looking at myself and wondering, how could a reasonably intelligent person like myself allow myself to be in this situation? You know, the Bible tells us that my people are destroyed due to lack of knowledge. I think it's talking not just about spiritual knowledge, but about worldly, natural knowledge. And I don't think I'm alone. The reasons, I believe it has more to do with cultural conditioning than anything else. And for, of course, many years, we were more concerned with the rudimentary things in life, how we're going to survive, how we're going to be able to provide food, shelter, and clothing for our families. So that investment piece was never really at the forefront of our thinking, at least not for most of us. But knowing and understanding how wealth is made and accumulated in this country, teaching our children how it works, is paramount to future financial freedom for the next generations. I personally believe there's a reason that certain information is commonplace to some and more like advanced calculus to others. But I digress. That being said, it's time for us to change that reality. And if we as black women, and black people in general, take the time to learn how to invest our monies in things that Ving Rhames said in Baby Boy, appreciate with value, as opposed to material possessions that depreciate with value. You know, that guns and butter analogy he used. If we learn how to pay ourselves first before we pay anybody, wealth isn't as elusive a goal as we might think. And unless the rules of the game change, the last time I checked, all money is green. Our monies can be invested just like anybody else's. So, if we can buy our children $200 tennis shoes and $700 iPhones, we can invest $50 or $100 a month in an IRA that will put them in a financial position one day to start their own business, buy homes, some real estate, leave a legacy that is the blueprint for the next generation of wealth building and investing. I am starting at 55 to invest in a Roth account. But what I really hope to accomplish, people, before I leave this earth, is that I will be the impetus that starts my children down the investment path towards a tradition that they can pass on to my yet unborn grandchildren. And unless things drastically change sometime in the near future, believe me, an educated investment strategy will be crucial to Afro-American women, as unfortunately it appears many of us may have to take care of ourselves all by ourselves. Amen. Hello everyone. I just want to say it's been a minute since the spill has come to you. We've really kind of been going through a little bit of something, but we're about to relaunch or have a launch of the spill. So we want you to pay attention to that, and please stay tuned for that. And we're also going to have people like my agent Ty and his wife on the show so they can talk about investments and life insurance, whole life, term life. So please stay tuned. We've missed you all. We hope you've missed us. And so until next time, you know what we say, you can always go with the flow, but go with the spill. Good to be back.